Shalom, giving all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rechak, Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and bishops of the great millstone that rule well. And as always, peace, blessings, and salutations unto the for elect tabernacle of David scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. Now, once again, it's a lot of, self-proclaimed teachers out there, who, they have a zeal, but of course not according to knowledge. And they go out there and try to teach the law of the Most High and don't really be understanding what they're teaching, which Paul warned Timothy, that you're going to have, certain men out there that's going to be, desire to teach the law of the Most High, but they really can't really affirm what they're talking about. Now, let me actually grab that real quick before I even start the video. I believe this is, it's 1 Timothy, verse 7, chapter 1, verse 7. And it says, desiring to be teachers of the law, understanding neither what they say nor whereof they affirm. But we know that the law is good if a man use it lawfully. And I'm going to get that same verse in the NLT. And it reads, they want to be known as teachers of the law of Moses, but they don't know what they are talking about, even though they speak so confidently. We know that the law is good when used correctly. So this is another example displaying that, you have teachers out there. All right. Primarily, when it comes to, certain aspects of the law, you have men that, they teach the law, but they themselves don't even understand how to keep the law. So this is IUIC once again at it. They out there teaching, and it's a few jakes standing by listening, and they, ask a sister if she, ever planned on being married. And her initial response was that, she's not really interested in marrying. So how IUIC do it. You wicked as hell if you don't get what, you don't marry. And which, we're supposed to marry, the women are supposed to be married. But they teach that you got to get married according to the state. You got to get the marriage certificate, sign that contract with the state, which, that would be actually against the law to make a covenant with the state. And, that's, marriage in a nutshell. And then, they don't mention the consummation part, because that's overall the marriage, two, a man and a woman being joined together and becoming one flesh, what constitutes that, the consummation. So listen to them real quick, and then we'll come right back.
Because I want to get myself together. It ought not be, I don't ever want to get married. Because you're going to want to have sex. Right. It's going to happen. And if you're not in marriage, God says this. Go back to Hebrews 13. The book of Hebrews, chapter 13 and verse 4. Well, marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled. And the bed is undefiled, read. But whoremongers, the whoremongers, men that sleep around and spit game with women and lay with them, that's called a whoremonger. Right. He's got bodies on him. Right. Read.
And you know where they get this from. They get it from their leader. They get it from their head. That's totally off. All right. A man spitting game with a woman, and then he ends up laying with her. It doesn't make him a whoremonger, but if he decides to, just dip off and not actually deal with her as a wife, and causes her to go and, sleep with other men because he didn't take her, he just caused her to basically commit whoredom. So in retrospect, that would be adultery. All right, meaning if you lay with a woman without the intent of actually marrying her, all right, but she's thinking in her head, okay, I'm with you now, but you say, nah, I just want the hit and that was it. And then he moves on, and then she has to move on, and then she go deal with another man. You just cause her to be a whore, right? Now, if you actually lay with that woman and you take her to be like she's your wife now, and you do the same with another woman, those are your wives. You're not a whore. You're not a whoremonger. A whoremonger is actually a pimp, a man who actually indulge in selling whores. When you break the word down, whore meaning a harlot, and monger means to sell, to trade. So when you trading a woman off for sex, what are you doing? You're mongering her. You're selling her in exchange for what? For pay, for hire, for a wage. So we're gonna prove that in this video real quick. And I've done lessons on this before, and of course in response to the same group, they still just can't get it. All right, so let's go to. This is in the Edom Online. Whoremonger. It's from Whoremonger, right? And it says monger, Old English, mongere, merchant, trader, broker. See that? It says agent now from Mangian to traffic trade. So like these traffickers, these sex traffickers, they would be considered whoremongers. Are men who are trafficking women, or you got female versions of it. Those would be what you call madams. Okay, a madam is a female whoremonger, like the character played by Della Reese in Harlem Nights. All right, Dellen, she was a whoremonger. Okay, she would go get Sunshine or whoever else, right, for service. It says from the Latin mongo, which means dealer, trader, slave dealer, which is related to mongonium, displaying of wares. Okay. So that's literally what a whoremonger is. Okay. Somebody who sells a harlot. And then you got men who will sell themselves, male prostitutes. That he would be a whoremonger of himself. So if you're saying a man got bodies, but he's being paid by women, to sleep with him, or like an adult film star or something like that, he gets paid, to lay around, that would be considered a whoremonger. But if you actually dealing with women and you actually are taking them in as your wives, which the law says that if you get you another wife, if you have more than one woman, you're supposed to take care of them. They become part of your household. They're one with you. Was it Deuteronomy? Yeah, Deuteronomy 21:15. It says, if a man have two wives, one beloved and another hated, and they have borne him children, both the beloved and the hated, and if the firstborn son be heirs, or it's like it be hers that was hated, then it shall be when he maketh his sons to inherit that which he have, that he may not make the son of the beloved firstborn before the son of the hated, which is indeed the firstborn. But he shall acknowledge the son of the hatred for the firstborn by giving him a double portion of all that he have, for he is the beginning of his strength. The right of the firstborn is his. So according to the law, even if the first woman that you had, something grows sour between you and you find no favor in your eyes towards her, If she was the first one to have your son, she had your firstborn son. You can't treat her son, which is your firstborn. You can't prevent the inheritance from him. The inheritance still goes to him, even if his mother, you no longer, find favor with her. Okay. So are you a whoremonger if you have more than one woman? Well, that's what IUIC teaches. All right, clearly not understanding what it actually means to be a whoremonger. Okay. There's a reason why the Lord specifically say in the law that if you vow a vow to offer something to the Lord, it better not be the hire of a whore. Because that's an abomination. You don't offer up an offering or a gift to the Lord with a prostitute's money. And matter of fact, let me find that. I believe it's in Deuteronomy 23. Yep, Deuteronomy 23 and 18. It says, I'll start at 17. It says, there shall be no whore of the daughters of Zion, nor a sodomite of the sons of Israel. Thou shalt not bring the hire of a whore or the price of a dog into the house of the Lord thy power for any vow, for even both of these are an abomination unto the Lord thy power. All right, so you don't bring in money from, or money earned from a prostitute to try to, give it as a vow or offering to the Lord. All right, because more than likely, that's pretty much like a pimp, basically giving money back to, trying to give money back to the Lord. The Lord he would not be good with that offering, that sacrifice. Because that it was a sinful deed how you got that money. So that money is not good in this house. All right. So who receives the hire of a whore? The whoremonger, the pimp, because he sold her. Okay. She gets paid for her services. Ezekiel 16 and 33 says they give gifts to all whores, but thou givest thy gifts to all thy lovers. And this is the Most High cussing out Jake, calling out Israel for their whoredom spiritually, worshiping the gods of these other nations. It was like they was willing to, pay these nations to worship their gods and commit whoredom with them. And he's saying here, at least a whore, she actually gets paid for her services, but you paying them, to freak off with you, to commit spiritual fornication. It says, and hires them that they may come unto thee on every side for thy whoredom. Read that in the NLT. It says, prostitutes charge for their services, but not you. You give gifts to your lovers, bribing them to come and have sex with you. So you're the opposite of other prostitutes. You pay your lovers instead of they're paying you. Okay. So, whoremongering has to do with selling, sex for money. All right. So it has nothing to do with, you gaming up a woman and you happen to have something going on. And in this society, usually, the woman don't always want to stay around. You might even start to take her serious and she just having fun. That's why it's best that, like Paul said, don't even touch these women out here. Some of them, they just want to have fun. That's what this society is all about. They're given to pleasures and dwell carelessly. That's Babylon. They'll go and deal with another man without you even knowing. It's real dangerous out here. But whoremongering, that's not a man that got bodies, okay? Unless he's a like a a adult film star. He gets paid to just sleep around with, all types of women, like that one clown, the dude who what's his name, man? But it went viral like maybe a year ago or so, where you had that Edomite perv, Adam 22, the dude who hosts a No Jumper podcast, which I can't believe certain Israelites didn't went on that platform. But he literally allows this woman to get popped by other men for money. So you pimping out your own wife. That's whoremongering. And he allowed her to actually film a scene with another adult film star. And that's what he do for money. All right. So you got a whoremonger selling his wife to another whoremonger to get pimped out and freaked off on camera, which is all around abominable. In which the scriptures say that in Wisdom of Solomon, about the behavior that's influenced by idolatry. That licentious, liberal spirit, a debauchee. And it's totally off, man. When it talks about there being disorder in marriage, they neither kept their marriages. Let me see if I can find it actually. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, and verse 20. I'll start at verse 22. It says, "More this was not enough for them, that they erred in the knowledge of the Most High, but whereas they lived in a great war of ignorance, those so great plagues called they peace. For whilst they slew their children in sacrifices, or used secret ceremonies, or made revelings of strange rites or rituals, they kept neither lives nor marriages any longer undefiled." So marriage just became impure. It's not a pure thing anymore, just like in this world. Marriage is very corrupted because, nowadays, you're not even marrying a pure woman. None of these women coming up in society are groomed to be chaste. It just whoredom all around, so when by the time you get to that age where it's time to marry, these women are already ran through. Plus these, they coming up in this society of the LGBTQ. So the ideologies, open up their mind to all kind of licentious behavior. So she'll be done gotten with a woman, a few dudes. So she didn't did it all. She didn't dabbled on both sides, or even men, bisexual men. They'll have a whole wife and a family, but dipping off and dealing with other dudes on the low. Shit is all around wicked. And this behavior existed going back to the old world during the time of Noah. This is part of the reason why the Lord had to flush the earth out. Because this behavior was rampant, and it's rampant to this day. That's why this same world is kept in store for fire in the day of the Lord's judgment. Because like the Lord said, they were just like in the days of Noah, and like in the days of Lot, man, they were eating and drinking in marriage and giving in, marrying and giving in marriage. And marriage was no longer a pure concept anymore. It says, but either one slew another traitorously or grieved him by adultery. So a lot of this was going on. It says, so that there reigned in all men without exception blood, manslaughter, theft, and dissimulation, corruption, unfaithfulness, tumults, perjury, disquieting of good men, forgetfulness of good turns, defiling of souls, changing of kind. All right. And, you have the surgery provided for that now, where, a man can get his privy members rearranged. All right. Women can get operated on, and they can get testosterone put into them, to start to have that manly strength. So and it's all around abominable, man. But this is the norm now. The changing of kind, so you can mark whichever one you want on the application, whatever you choose to identify. And they're programming the children with that nonsense. It says disorder in marriages, adultery, and shameless uncleanness. Okay. So, yeah, the scripture that they quoted, Hebrews 13, marriage is honorable when it's done lawfully. When it's between a man and his wife. And it doesn't matter how many of them he has. If he has more than one, if they all are sleeping in that bed, your bed, but they belong to you, that's not defilement of the bed. So marriage is honorable in all. All right, but and the bed undefiled, but a whoremonger and an adulterer will the Most High judge. A whoremonger is a pimp, a whore seller. Whether you selling yourself in exchange for a price, or whether you're selling other women for a price. Okay, just to make that clear. Let's go to Sirach 23. In 16, it says, 2 sorts of men multiply sin, and the third will bring wrath. A hot mind is as a burning fire. It will never be quenched till it be consumed. A fornicator in the body of his flesh will never cease till you have kindled a fire. That's a serial adulterer. He just gets off on sleeping with every dude's woman. He just has that thrill until he sleep with the wrong woman eventually, and that spirit of vengeance come down, and several people die. All right, you just kindled a fire that's gonna spread. Somebody's gonna die. All right, it's a dangerous game you playing, and a lot of these dudes, they do it, without fear, because it's a glamorized behavior in a very perverse, wicked society. Adultery is never punished here. There's zero tolerance in other places of the world, but you could get away with it here. There's no judgments or consequences for it on this side. It says all bread is sweet to a whoremonger, right? You getting that bread, you racking in all that money. It's all sweet to you as long as you are prospering, And that's why the scriptures say, envy not the glory of a sinner. The scriptures say in the book of Sirach, was it the 20th chapter? There is a person that have good success in evil things, and there is a gain that turneth to a loss. Eventually indulging in that lifestyle, ultimately your soul, your life is going to be lost. All right. Because that's you heaping to yourself multitudes of sins. And the wages of sin is death. It says all bread is sweet to a whoremonger. He will not leave off till he die. So yeah, man. And that's dealing with, a man that's prostituting a bunch of women, pimping them out. That's totally off. But IUIC, they'll teach you that if you have more than one woman, that's whoremongering, which would basically mean that Abraham, he indulged in whoremongering. Jacob, he indulged in whoremongering. Moses, King David, King Solomon, Rehoboam, Gideon, All these men, they committed the act of whoremongering, according to IUIC, because that's not what that means. You bring in several women to your bed chambers, and those are women that belong to other men. That's where it becomes the problem. That's straight up adultery. All right. Or you have even these men who are they'll be hired as male dancers at these bachelorette parties, and some of these married women, they'll literally pay that man to actually pop them the night before their wedding, which is super wicked, very evil. They'll start giving a blowjob to the dude, right there in the room. I've heard several stories of stuff like that going down at these bachelorette parties. Bachelorette parties is wicked as all hell. Our custom was if both families came together and they had a marriage ceremony, a feast, they ate and they drank, and then later that night they went into the marriage chamber, and that was it. There was no pre-party before the holy matrimony that took place between you and your family the night of the marriage. All right. But you just had a bunch of women and they have some male dancers come in. Come on, man. But those type of men, he would be considered a whoremonger as well. Okay. So there shall not be any harlots or prostitutes of the daughters of Zion, neither shall there be any sodomites of the sons of Israel. And a sodomite is basically a temple harlot. A man in the temple, giving his body over, to commemorate a false god or a false deity. Okay. So you're not supposed to indulge in that. And that's what they do in Hollywood. So Lord willing, y'all will edify. I don't want to go into this. All right. They're wrong on this topic. Every time I catch this and they talk on this and they bring this point out, it's like, come on, man. And y'all push the law, damn near the heaviest, man. It's all about the law with these dudes. But they don't even know how to teach the law properly. So how would they be able to judge certain matters correctly if they're, they're not completely understanding the law? So anyway, Lord willing, y'all will edify them and give all praise to Yahweh Shem Shai. Until the next lesson, Shalom.